moving into this space to introduce a video from the Tishman Environment and Design Center. This is a part of a video series that we're doing to document the time of the fellowship. And just a little bit of context, the fellows were in Boriken. They were in Puerto Rico for their last retreat. And they had a beautiful video made, and I'd love to introduce my comrade Julio and Jesus to talk more about this video very quickly, because it's a long video. So this is Jesus and Julio.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Julio, and this is one of my colleagues, Jesus, representing Boriken. Where you're going to see is a little bit of the experience that the fellowship had in Puerto Rico. We wanted to share with our colleagues of the fellowship the prototypes and the kind of activities that we are planning to do with our communities in Puerto Rico regarding sustainability, agriculture, and culture all mixed together in one event. So I hope you enjoy it. Jesus is going to talk just a little bit more.
Yes, we were in Puerto Rico recently, and the idea was to show some of the work that we do. So we were disruptive with the fellowship, and we took them to one of the mountain towns in Puerto Rico, in Boriken, which is like 1 hour and 30 minutes away from San Juan, where Organización Boricua was founded out of a lot of hard work and climate justice, pro-sovereignty work, and also agroecology and food sovereignty work. So it was very special to have different leaders from all parts of the world in those mountains specifically, and we celebrated, we farmed the land together, we recognized our ancestors, we shared the food from the harvest from the community. So, and we also did a lot of work, right? We met, we did work, we moved around the island. So this is a little summary of what went down, and we are very happy to share it with all of you.
What we need to change is the way people think, the way people feel, the way people see the world, the way we need to have the opportunity. And that's why I'm so excited about these things that is happening with the fellowship. It's about having a place in which people can nurture a new world.
Rara la fruta fresca que aquí se da a conocer. Hay mucha que da placer y poca que ella parezca, aunque de la loza crezca. Lo peor de mi memoria, su semilla es paliatoria para un futuro perverso, demasiada para un verso y diminuta para la historia, demasiada para un verso y diminuta para la historia.
Officially, bienvenido a Boriken. Welcome to Y No Había Luz, taller, teatro, casa de Y No Había Luz. Y No Había Luz is a collective that for 18 years has worked together in a multidisciplinary way. We continue dreaming. We have three important components: the artistic, the community, and educational program.
I appreciate you all bringing us into this space. Just walking in here was being transported. Like, I have not been inspired in months, and I feel like I'm ready to go home and do so much. Just coming in here.
These have a specific meaning. This piece is telling us something about the hands, about the one that use the hands, how you change when you are the one that have the power. So the hands start like taking power and controlling the situation.
It's not a free Puerto Rico that will free Puerto Ricans. It's free Puerto Ricans that will free Puerto Rico.
great to come here to Boriken, where the community organizers from groups like Organization Boricua and Amnestar have been really building resilience in their communities with projects around food sovereignty and renewable distributed energy programs, and learning from the work that they're doing here on the ground to really build sovereignty in their communities has been so insightful, especially given that we share common histories of colonization and common oppression now with our political status and our relationships to the United States.
Estamos aquí en la finca del Guaraguao, tierra donde nació la organización Boricua, haciendo una brigada colectiva con representantes de organizaciones de justicia ambiental de diferentes partes del mundo, incluyendo tan cerca y tan lejos como las Islas Marianas, que están allá en el Pacífico, y que comparten un contexto similar al nuestro, personas isleñas, además con un contexto colonial, en este caso, ¿verdad?, con Estados Unidos y en resistencia.
Basically, this workshop is going to consist in how to farm. Today,
We produce our food with agroecological practices. Because in the pro-independence movement, people always ask, and if US goes, what are we going to eat? Let's produce our food.
Typhoon Moir has strengthened into the strongest storm on the planet. Now it's a super typhoon with winds of 165 miles an hour in the open Pacific.
Guam and the Mariana Islands were hammered with rain and wind gusts.
And we're from the Mariana Islands, which was just struck by a Category 5 typhoon. These kinds of storms are expected to happen more in frequency and intensity, and this is a climate crisis, and it very much is something that the people here in Boriken have experienced as recently as in 2017 with Hurricane Maria. And we feel a lot of support and solidarity with the other fellows and with the people here in Boriken to really send love and support back to our peoples who are suffering in the Marianas.
We are working with the climate context. We are working with colonialism here in Puerto Rico, and we have a vision of sustainability with justice. So we feel very great at this moment that we've been able to share space, create together, and also have future plans that are not for the short term, but for the long term.
We're really separated by oceans and miles apart, but we really share so much of the same struggles and so much of the same histories of oppression. And what's possible really is the hope that we can build something greater and better together.
Hello, Tess. That was beautiful. Sign Maasi. Okay, they're telling me to go up on stage. Yes. So that was, I was told to mention that it's a trailer, right? That this is not the final product. We have more to share. And if you haven't noticed, a sneak peek, if you haven't noticed, we have some camera crews going around today because the summit will also be documented and included in this larger video that the Tishman Center will be putting out. So please be on the lookout for that. That will be out pretty soon. And I also wanted to mention and say thank you to our comrades at GGJ for supporting that and for really getting our message around demilitarization in the Pacific out there. So Sanima Asim Ramon, if you don't mind standing and just waving to everyone. This is Ramon. Everyone making it possible, and thank you to Nihi Indigenous Media, who is not in this room right now, but just want to say thank you and show gratitude. So Sanimase, and I'll pass the mic off to, who's next?
Hey, hey everybody. Make a sound for how you're feeling in those conversations this afternoon. Give me like a feeling sound. Okay, so that's one version of a report back. That sounds good. Yeah, this guy get that? Oh no, that person said, ooh. So we are going to, I know there's a thing called like just slow death by report back, where we try to share every single comment that was said, and then it's a long day. So what we want to do is share the heart of the heart. Yeah, the heart of the heart. We want to share like the pumping blood, what gives us life, so we can really benefit from that as good medicine for us all. Yeah, good wisdom. And I know I felt it in my room, and I really trust it was happening, ba-boom, 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 all around. So we're going to take it in each current. So the first current was, Angela was in a room with some people. Who's going to share back from that room? And the title of your room was?
What was it? What did we change it? No, it is not. Self-determination. And traditional ecological knowledge.
If you contributed to that conversation, can you wave so we can love you? Just like we can see you. You're like, yeah. All right.
Off day. Okay, so we had a lot of conversations. As you know, we're probably the last group to leave the session also. So that shows a lot of like conversation that we're cultivating and really good points. And to kind of sum it up, we kind of rewrote it all out. And we felt for the declaration, the answer is really, it's in our language. It's in our words. So that's the first thing that when it comes to writing the declaration, we want to make sure it's in our language and it's us saying it for ourselves as well. We have to define what is sovereignty, because oftentimes, especially dealing with Western powers, they also co-opt our ability to claim sovereignty as well. So we have to make sure it is not able to be co-opted throughout that time. Also in our discussion, we also had a lot of conversations about the power of prayer and ceremony, and how the power of prayer of ceremony can really allow treaties to come about in the next coming years, can allow people to have a change of heart over a period of time, but also having prayer and ceremony by the water, and how it has always given us the needed energy to allow each other to flow from one conversation to the next conversation. Then we also felt that when it comes to education, you have to also follow through at the same time. And we want to do it within multiple generations, where each generation can contribute equally to the next generation, whether you're young to the older, or the older to the young, or in between. And we also want to make sure that when we educate within our context, and that we empower within our context as well, meaning our history, our shared experiences, and then as we lead this declaration, we lead our community, we lead with peace and love. And that when we talk about the declaration, it's not a fight. It's how do we love each other, and how do we love this planet that we live in. And some guiding principles in our Chamorro language will be Inat Gofli'i, Inat Femalik, Inat Guaiza. And Mago, Minagum, which we also had conversations about. That could be the word for peace. That could be our language for peace as well. Then obviously when it comes to protecting our native plants, we understand that Western medicine has its purpose, but we feel that our medicine, our own plants, is what we really need the most. So focusing on that is an essential part in terms of indigenous sovereignty and tech. We also have to acknowledge that ignorance cannot be the excuse to oppress other people. Yes, exactly. Everyone said boo in our conversations. But, this is our biggest challenge, especially here in Guam, the ignorance part. So we have to do our part. We have to do the work, learn how to do the work as well, and believe that abundance and unity cannot be separation and scarcity. We have to lead with abundance and unity. We have to separate ourselves from that thinking of being separated and divided. And we have to think about, this is not going to be here anymore. It's always going to be there, and we have to protect that and love that. And that when it comes to writing our declaration, the first people here who originated here should be the first people to speak and the last people to speak and make that decision as well. And from guidance from our spiritual elder in our conversation, and that's from our report back. Thank you.
Do we like that? Biba! Yeah! Right, the next t-shirt, kick spiritual ass. Yeah. Thank you. Woo. Ooh, that feels good. Yeah, you know, you're feeling joy. Feel the joy. No, sorry for feeling the joy. The second current was Maru's group. Do we have Maru here? Environmental health, just recovery, and environmental regeneration. Hi.
Hafaday. My name is Kayla. This is Julia. So we both entered Current 2 during the second part. So we will do our best to present all of Current 2 to you, though. So starting with what we are. So once again, we are environmental health, just recovery, and environmental regeneration. And the things that we pointed out, or that they pointed out, is that in Guam's perspective, there's a lot of waste. We see it everywhere. We have a lot of exports. People just throw their trash. But there's also nuclear waste and contamination that we don't really see and is the biggest cancer of our island. We also have the natural disasters and how we lack in the recovery of those disasters and how a lot of our people have to wait in order for us to have our
pollution that affects all of our Pacific. We also discussed about how there are different opportunities that the different Pacific Small Island developing states have either engaged in or are looking into regarding developing compostable plastics or ban on single-use plastics or alter the design of plastics. And there is hopes for opportunity for Guam and the CNMI to be represented at the INC. Colonization was especially a big topic, especially regarding food sustainability and sovereignty. So these self-sufficient and food systems that many of our colonized nations have had were dismantled in the process of colonialism. And so how there is a majority of our sustenance comes from imports and loss of food, sustainability locally, and loss of land through zoning. And so trying to address those issues as well, in addition to how there are extreme vulnerability to storms and hurricanes, and in the Pacific also typhoons, and how this is importantly connected to our ability to
for these inhabitants. We also have a high dependency on imports, especially fossil fuels, and economic development for others, while it raises prices for us in the islands. An opportunity for renewable sources, we can strengthen it, but we also need the power of our leaders to be strengthened. And that led to our second session in how we are trying to figure out our what we can do as solutions. So
just building off of the first session quickly, so thank you. So looking at the need for a local perspective and really emphasizing that and helping in particular our communities first and foremost, such as in the case of Typhoon Mawar and granting aid to the community and people's most in need on our island. This also connects with the international and regional perspectives that we have talked about as being an important link, and how there is a need to really address our issues in terms of, for example, the problems or the issues that were addressed in the past, now they can sometimes be problematic in finding the solution. And this was especially in the context of trying to work in a system that infrastructurally, legally, politically is very difficult to work in as a colonized nation, and having to really do reformative work in that sense, and being self-sustaining, being self-determined sustainability, encouraging people to come together, hold the government, such as the federal government, accountable, and also to, in the goal of being self-sustaining, to not rely as much on imports and other places' resources, so, and essentially to be go local or hyper-localization, and how this can help is also the intergenerational wisdom, especially from our elders, and the knowledge and insight and
I also wanted to add that we spoke about our schooling system and how it's very important to rewrite what we are teaching our youth, because we do not want them to fall within our foot done, so that they could possibly prevent more problems from becoming. But we also want to give some attention to, or we also brought up the attention to the Israel genocide in the for the Palestinians. We are being affected by that. Even we're just set up in the crossfire. We see it, and it could come here so easily. So we can bring that awareness to everyone and have them understand the severity of how much it can affect us.
Summarize entirely, yes, it's kind of this needing to reform our systems, our education systems, being self-sustainable, holding these administering powers accountable, such as, for example, the US and the nuclear waste disposal and testing in the Marshall Islands, as well as how Guam has been involved in this militarization as well. And just essentially the importance of being local. Thank you.
Yeah, she was like asking us if we feel the wave. Yeah, are we feeling the wave? Yeah. Okay, so calling forth a peace and prosperity zone. A peace and prosperity zone. Hey.
So in our Peace and Prosperity Zone, we talked a lot about what it means to define peace and security for ourselves from the grassroots, and so moving away from other definitions, and that really starting with community and our relationships to each other. We talked about peace coming from within and also in connection to the land and in our community, and talked about threats of war and militarization that are impacting each of the islands differently, and that also causing separation from each other based on the different political statuses that the islands hold. And so how do we come together in unity and hold the government accountable? We talked a lot about sharing strategies for self-determination, having the financial support to make this happen. How do we gain access to the stages at the UN, and building stronger alliances with each other, and doing this from the island mindset of abundance, of we have enough here. So that was a little flavor of some of the overarching themes in our conversation. Betty here is going to share a little bit about what stood out for you from our.
Thank you. For the session, it was really inspired by the different definitions of peace, well-being, and thinking about how it contradicts with what the world says about peace, which is a lack of conflict. But for us, it's more than that. It's connection to one another. It's connection to our land, our ancestors. It's the Aina, the Vanua, the Ailang and Mayo. All of that is included in peace. And surprisingly, that's not acknowledged yet. So we need to make sure it is acknowledged as a foundation for what we are trying to accomplish. And for prosperity, I was really inspired by everyone sharing the challenges that they were having in their own communities, and trying to understand, stand in their shoes and hear, you know, what's happening in Rhoda and what's happening in the region. And it made me realize that there is different levels of stakeholders in our conversation. We have to engage in our declaration what we want from the communities, what we want from our leaders, and what we want from people outside that are interacting with us. And actually, while I'm standing here, I think one thing I wanted to add, just off the cuff, is also women. Women are peace builders. Women should have a seat at the table. And in fact, countries that are administered should also have a seat at the table, and that's not seen in our Pacific region. And it's very, what's the word? It's just wrong that some of our brothers and sisters don't have a voice. And so all of us are not free until all of us are free. All of us don't have peace until all of us have peace. So the solidarity for peace and prosperity is very important. I'm so grateful to be a part of the conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, and so one of the solutions or key takeaways that I took back from our conversation of ensuring peace and prosperity within our communities and our islands in the Pacific would be our means of communication. And, you know, everyone here in the Pacific, one of our deepest values is respect. And if you come with respect and you ensure that you make way for our voices to be heard, then maybe we can have a healing conversation. We can go over these hard conversations together to ensure that we each know what our wants and our needs are and how we can work for a way, not the way. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Everyone that comes down the stage gets like an extra love from Sheila. A little way. Okay, so then we have the current, rounding out our currents is Unity in the Pacific for Climate Justice. Yeah.
Hello. Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Javen Santos. I'm Tautau Guahan, and I'm going to be representing Guam at COP28, the UN Climate Conference this year. And I'm really lucky for that opportunity, and I want to make sure that I bring this document that we're going to be working on to this space and bring our solutions to that international platform and demand for the solutions that we all worked on here today. But I'm going to be reporting out for the climate justice section, and if y'all want to look at it and learn or see what we talked about in a little bit more detail, it's all displayed here. But we broke it down into opportunities, threats, and solutions in relation to climate justice. So I'm just going to synthesize it a little bit. So the opportunities that we discussed in a group were connecting to our culture and our environment. You know, we have the opportunity to connect with who we are as people and connect to our lands. We also have the opportunity to build collective power, building power in these spaces and learning from each other and using that to make the change that we want to see. A lot of the people in our group were also working in media, working in creating digital content. And so there's an opportunity to use the media and technology to connect with each other and also to build momentum for the change we want to see. Another thing we talked about is threats. You know, there's the threats of climate disasters that are impacting all of our communities around. And there's a threat to the loss of culture in our communities. You know, there's an intersection between climate change and climate issues and the effect it has on our cultural communities. There's a threat to false solutions, you know. There's solutions that are being prodded around for the climate crisis that aren't informed by the people in this room. They aren't informed by the communities that are being impacted by climate change the most. So, you know, we have to be mindful that not every solution that's being proposed to us really has our communities at heart, and that's a threat that we need to be mindful of. You know, there's a threat of isolation, you know, when we're, us in our communities facing so many different issues at the same time, you know, it gets hard to deal with it all, and, you know, that could be very lonely and very isolating. And a contrast to that is the space that we're in right now, being in community with each other. And we're all aware that there's an intersection between climate change and militarization. There's an intersection between climate change and capitalism and extraction and the use of our resources. And the solutions that we pushed, one of them were pushing for funding, pushing for autonomy, and pushing for policies from the international community that we have informed and that we have created. You know, us as our communities have our own knowledge and our own lived experiences, and those need to be included in the solutions in order for those solutions to be the solutions that impact our communities in the way that we want them to. We also talked about investing in our communities through cultural education, place-based education, you know, bringing people to the land and learning how to be in touch with nature. And we talked about a solution being connecting, empowering, building solidarity, and building common ground with each other. You know, we talked about being in community with each other and just listening to each other and our stories. We're building to a part of the solutions, because not only can we inform the document that we have here, but we can bring it back to our communities and build more momentum for change. And the last thing that I wanted to highlight is pushing for decolonization of our communities, pushing for just transitions that have our communities at heart. These are solutions that our group demanded broadly, and you can look at more of the details in some of the presentations we have here, but that's an overview of what our group talked about.
Are we glad to have this person, Javen, representing for Guam? Yeah, Cup, yeah. You got this. Okay, so just a moment where I whisper something to LeMay Love about process, so nothing to look at here.
Oh, you're gonna do the wave first?
Yeah, do wave.
Oh, she's like, we're gonna do a wave. I'm like, okay. She's like, do it.
Do it.
Like, oh, okay, you want me to do it? Oh, okay, let's do it. Let's do this. Okay, we're gonna wave. We've been practicing all day, right? Whew. What a day, what a day. Yeah? We're waiting for the volunteers. Join us, join us. You can join us. Come on, please. Por favor is how we say please in Chamorro. Por favor. Por favor. You're going to join the wave, okay? So, wow, what a day, huh? What a day. What a day. Half a day. Not a full day. It was half a day. All right, are we ready? Yes? Okay. So I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and then we're, okay. They're ready. No. Okay, I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1. Then we're gonna run this way, and then when it ends at the end, right? Y'all send it back, like you snap it back. Yeah. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Woo! Woo! One more time. Woo! It's coming back. Amazing. That was amazing. Wow, that was like, that's growth. That's what growth looks like. Y'all should have seen yourselves the first time we did it. So, can we get the Let My Loves up here? Where my sisters at? Where my girls at? From the front to back. Y'all just don't know that song? Where my girls? Let My Loves. We're looking for next. Muñeca. Oh, hold on, because the wave, I had to run with the wave. Yes, please. Thank you. So Cam's going to go call Muñeca. And then we just wanted to, like, communicate. We wanted to communicate what the next steps are, right? We spent a whole day together. We don't have, like, where's the declaration? Where's the... Right? No. So it's, you know, we want to be intentional, right? So we harvested all the stories. Y'all had so many stories. I was trying to get the attention back in the room, like on and off the light. They didn't care. They were not listening. So harvested all the stories. And now what are we gonna do, right? How are we gonna cook, right? What are we gonna do with the fish that we caught? Are we gonna sashimi? We're gonna fry it, right? What are we gonna do? We're gonna grill it. So I wanna recognize who our chefs will be. Those are our writers, right? Very important, our writers, right? So all of this, we had we had note takers, we had scribers, right? And now we're gonna hand it over to the chefs. Thank you for cooking for us, because I really don't enjoy doing that, you know, like. So can we please have Ana Batista? She's from the new school. Stand up and wave, and remain standing. Remain standing, please. So we have an ally. Here's our ally, Anna. Anna, can we say Anna? Can we say Biba Anna? Thank you. Okay, so remain standing, and then we have a local girl, Guam girl, Miss Victoria Lola, Leon Guerrero. Please stand and be recognized. These are our chefs. Our chefs are very important, right? The cooks in the kitchen. Can we say Biba Lola? Biba Lola. Awesome, yay. So we just really want to thank you so much for taking on this responsibility. It's a responsibility, yeah? Like, we're gonna read it and be like, the heck? I didn't say that. No, just kidding. We're gonna be so inspired. And we're gonna love it, and we're gonna share it, right? We're gonna share it, right? Like, when you cook something so good, you wanna share it, right? And that's the gift that we can't wait for. So, you know, these amazing women have a huge task, because COP, the Conference of the Parties, the United Nations Climate Change Conference, is happening in Dubai. And it's happening on November 30. And it's happening on November 30. What's today? October 20. Right? Like, what? We gotta take all this information, sift it, condense it, put it into 1 or 2 pages. Wow. Thank you, ladies. Okay, 4 or 4. Okay, it's gonna be 4 or 5 pages now. not 45. Nobody's gonna read that. No, I'm just kidding. I love that you love my jokes. Actually, it's kind of true. It's kind of true, yeah. It cannot be too long. It cannot be too short, right? It's not a pledge. So thank you, ladies. Yay, let's give them a round of applause. Awesome. Okay. And then I'm going to hand it off. I think we're just so grateful here. Come on, sissies. Come on. Come on. We're going to just be here so you can look at us. So that we can look at you. So that you can look at each other. Look at each other. I bet you all had good conversations, yeah? Yeah? And, you know, we're just going to hand it over. I'm going to hand it over, and then after this, we're going to, I want you to do that. Oh. Like, I want each of my sisters to speak. I want to hear your voices, because I miss you. You were in another break room, you know. We didn't have lunch together. I was in the village of Sinajana during my lunch. I really had to, you know, take care of myself, so I went poshando. Yeah, in our culture here, we call poshando means strolling. So I went around and I strolled the village. Beautiful, very similar to my home. See a lot of the same things. So I missed you girls during lunch.
That's where you went.
That's where I went. So I'm gonna hand it over, and then we're gonna show gratitude. We're gonna have a closing ceremony, and then, you know, we're gonna see each other again later, huh? Okay. All right.
Oh, yes. So this was such an amazing, powerful manifestation of a dream that we've had. And all of you were meant to be here. And we're just so grateful to our ancestors and to Spirit for guiding us all here together for this moment. And so excited to see the fruits of all of our labors and what Dr. Anna, Lola, and the other people who are forming the declaration. There's a little bit of a bigger team too, but they're the final writers. Do and what we can really create. There's already commitments to bring this declaration and bring it up to the Fenhitam and Hoban Decolonization for Youth Conference happening in 2 weeks. And you met Javen. Javen's gonna be the keynote speaker there. He's gonna weave a little bit of this wisdom into that. We also have Javen going to COP28, and another sister of ours here, Siobhan McManus, who's currently in Japan, but she is also going to COP28 with Global Grassroots Justice on their delegation, and will also be bringing the declaration to the outside spaces that GGJ has been formulating and building a relationship with. The Climate Justice Pavilion, the Indigenous Peoples Pavilions, and lots of other spaces that are on the civilian side, the civil society side of the UN. Siobhan will be there to lift up this declaration and the stories that you heard today. We just also wanted to make sure that we also come prepared for the Omelet Walk tomorrow. This is outside. Mama Lou, who's been sharing with us all day, she had to make a run a personal errand, but she will be leading us with demonstrations and medicine to take, and we're also going to be planting plants together, so dress comfortably. We're going to be having our ceremony keepers, which you felt a little taste of this morning at the opening ceremony, really driving deep those prayers for peace, for justice, and for prosperity for all life, and the thanks that we want to give, and to ensure that all that is sacred continues on to future generations. And that's tomorrow from 9 to noon in the neighboring village of Tatuhun or Aganya Heights at Fort Apugan. So we're excited for that. And then the final activity that's closing out our time together is the Guput, or the Fiesta at Sagan Katuran tomorrow, and that's from 4 to 7. But there is an optional protest. And please let us know, because we don't have a bus for that, so we do need to coordinate a ride share. If you're interested in going, please see any one of us to ensure that we can get you all there. Ooh, okay, I don't have to say the final thing. Thank you. All right. Again, thank you everyone for making the journey here. You know, it's been so amazing to see so many different faces in the room and so many faces that really embody how our community looks like, you know? And these are our decision makers. These are the people who are going to make change. So it means so much to me that you all came here and that you stayed till the end. Thank you for not leaving at lunch. Our photo looks so full and like so many people. So thank you for staying for the photo. Shout out comms team. Speaking of comms, part of my role here as a Love My Love was to ensure that the legacy of our fellowship work and also the legacy of our group, okay, I'm gonna make them talk, I'm gonna stand like a little farther over here. It lives on after this. So I mentioned this before, but not everyone was in the room. We just briefly watched a draft video of our brother from our a sneak peek video from our brothers from Boriken, and we will continue that story in the Marianas. You kind of saw that transition from how they were working in the farms in Puerto Rico, and now that we're gonna bring all of that energy and all of that momentum all the way here to the Marianas. And so again, we have a wonderful film crew. See, Aaron is here doing his magic. Sorry to put you on the spot. Sorry, dispense that. Aaron here from Nihi Indigenous Media, and we also have Kara. I don't see her right now, but Kara from Nihi, and they've been our storytellers, our witnesses, our Chalu Dakota, you know, really brought up this idea of the witness to ceremony, and they got that idea from indigenous folks in Turtle Island. So this practice of being here, being present, but also having folks relay the message to our communities who are not able to be here. So that's Aaron's role. Siduos Ma'asi, Aaron, for being our witness today. Siduos Ma'asi to all the volunteers who are putting out their camera phones. We have Polly Suba in the back being a witness right now. Siduos Ma'asi. And again, I just wanted to share gratitude to Ramon Mejia. Ramon, can you stand one more time? Sorry, dispense that. Ramon, this is Ramon, everyone, from GGJ, Grassroots Global Justice. And I just wanted to say Saina Ma'asi for amplifying our message. After this is going to be such a great way for people all over the world to hear our story about demilitarization and the struggles that we face in a 5-minute video. Oh my gosh, that's so short. But the way that you're going to be able to craft this story, it means so much to us that this will live on in the digital space and hopefully get more people involved in our movement and get more people educated about what's going on here in the Marianas and the Pacific. So Siduos Ma'asi for making the journey here by yourself to ensure that that story is told in, you know, such a powerful way. So Saina Ma'asi, thank you, Ramon. And with that being said, my last thing is to ensure that this declaration lives on, please tell your families about what we're doing in this room. Please tell your babies, tell your husbands, your wives, your partners, anyone who is willing to listen, your neighbors. You know, when you're in line at the bank, tell the person what you did today. You know what I mean? Like, it's so important that we continue this line of communication with the people who it's gonna impact. So that's one thing I would like to leave everyone with today. Tell at least one person what happened in this room and in all of the breakout rooms. So again, Saina Ma'asi and Dunkluna Siduos Ma'asi for joining us today, and I'll pass it off to my sister Mina.
I don't have much to say, but I'm just kind of reading the room. It's been a long day. You did really hard work. All of you contribute to this declaration. You could say you're part of that process. So can we all just give ourselves like a big hug? I showed up, not just for my community today, I showed up for everyone. I'm not talking about me. I'm saying this is what you say to yourself. I showed up, not just for my community, right? But for all of our communities. I showed up for the world today and called for peace. We've been sharing a lot of gratitude today for all of you. I'm also so grateful for all of you. But I would love if we can just take a moment to turn to someone next to us and just share something that really made us grateful for our time today. Yeah? And just take just a moment, like a minute. Can we just turn to someone next to us and just leave before the ceremony on a note of gratitude for this work? Yeah?
their attention. How about till 5:15?
Gonna ask if you can just wrap up your thought, wrap up your gratitude. Nice natural close, I hear it. Okay, I hear it's starting to get to a murmur, so I'm gonna ask if we can just close. Thank you. Before we transition to the ceremony, I'm just gonna ask maybe two people if you can just share maybe if what your partner shared and what they're grateful for resonated. Please share, or if you feel compelled to share what you were talking about, we wanna hear what you're grateful for. Oh, okay.
Test, mic check.
Rep Sheila planted me in the audience. I'm a plant. No, I'm not. She didn't. Well, I am really tired. I had 24 ounces of nitro cold brew and it's already running out. But I had a lovely conversation here with my newest friend, Frello. Okay, thank you. It makes me so happy. Melvin. And I love him going, that's how you know I'm tired. I'm black aunting it over this. And he said his was decolonization, and he's happy to hear it.
Thank you.
I have to share hers. It was agape, which is love. Yes, it's great that ours just worked out together because you can't have decolonization without love.
Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else? Do I see hands? Do I see hands? Where are the hands? Where are the hands? There it is.
Okay. One thing that I shared a story with my friends about how when I was young, my dad didn't speak Pompeian to me. And I asked him about it when I got older. I said, why didn't you speak your language to me? Because I don't know it now. I can hear it, but I can't speak it. And he said, because my language will not get you any opportunities. English will get you opportunities. And for me, that broke my heart because he believed that our culture is not valuable. Sorry. So this is what reclaiming culture looks like to me. For me to be around, sorry. For me to be here where I belong with my Micronesian brothers and sisters, to hear what they're going through, to know that I am one of you and that we can reclaim our culture as our power. It means more than just a declaration. It's about that. So thank you.
All right. You good? You want one more? I know we want to hear more and more and more.
One more.
Okay, we're gonna go on this
Someone
side.
in that
We got
section.
this. We got that section. We got this section.
Taylor.
We have a hand up. I'm coming here to Taylor.
Thank you, Sheila. Half a day, everyone. My name is Taylor. I'm normally someone that takes up a lot of space, but I've been here receiving a lot of wisdom from you all, and I appreciate and I'm grateful to be welcomed here and supported here, and am getting my cup filled here. with a lot of wisdom and stories. And what Julio shared with me was this beautiful moment he had while setting up the butterfly puppets. And he was just out, setting things up, and a butterfly came to him and landed on a chair. And he had a moment with the butterfly. And, as our relatives like to do when we like to capture them on film, they run off because they're not about that stuff. So the butterfly left, but he had this beautiful moment, and then he was talking with Maria. Was it you, Maria? Okay. He was talking with Maria later, and Maria was telling him about this endangered butterfly. I don't remember the name.
The 8-spot Mariana butterfly.
The 8-spot Mariana butterfly. And Julio was like, well, wait a minute. Would it be black and yellow by any chance? And Maria was like, yes. And that was the butterfly that visited him. And they shared a moment. He got to be visited by that relative. So, and now we all get to share in that story too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing gratitude. I really feel it up here. And now to close this day, but to continue on tomorrow in our Amat Walk, we are going to transition to ceremony. And I'll hand the mic over to Dakota.
Hafa'edai, everyone. We're going to move into a circle. So I need everyone to move the chairs to the side and your belongings to the side too. And again, in respect to the time that we have, so don't feel pressure to fold them all and put them nice and neat, but that does help the cleanup crew because we need to be out of here by 6 o'clock. But we also need a moment to be in a circle. And if your body is like, circle sounds nice, but I need to sit for a little bit, bring the chair into the circle. There may be some of us that need to sit at the end of this day, and that's okay. Is it possible to bring some of these lights down a little bit, the ones on the sides? And the reason why is because I just want us to be able to really take each other in. These ones? Is it possible to take them down? Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Let's make a really nice circle with everybody here. I'm going to ask you to walk around. Yeah, just give everyone. You can pass it. In this moment while I'm sharing, we're going to send this coconut oil around. And this is the coconut oil that is from the 4 islands of Laguas, of the Marianas, coming together. There's coconut oil from each of the 4 islands. And at the last Amat Walk, we unified that oil and we prayed over it, just like we're going to do tomorrow. And so this coconut oil is uniting all of us in this moment. And I wanted to share 3 quick things with us about our language. We talked about how our language is where the answers are, right? So today we say Hafa'edai. And I've been taught that there's an older form of that word, and it's Hafa'edai. Try that out. Hafa'edai. 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 And what's beautiful about this word is that it actually means, what's up, person who looks after each other? Right? So in our language, the instruction is at the beginning, right? That we look after one another. And it's not just like, okay, you look after me, I look after you. It's like the one who looks after all things, right? The whole circle, which is why we're standing in the circle today. Yeah. I've heard that in the time before colonization, if there ever was a conflict, that when one person died, that all fighting stopped because people recognized that one life lost is too many, that all life is sacred. And that's the kind of wisdom that we need in this moment now. And one of our words for peace is minagung. You say that, minagung. And minagung comes from the word magung. Say that, magung. And magung comes from the word mahagung. Mahagung. And mahagung means to have breathed. So I want to invite us, as this coconut oil is coming around, to look at this beautiful global community that has come together for the mission of peace and breathe that in. Keep breathing. We heard earlier that peace comes from within and it resonates out. So this peace that we're working towards, let's start here in our breath. I'm not gonna lie, the coconut oil going around is taking a little longer than I thought. But that's okay. We move in the relationship to the time that we have. And yes, that means you love it. That means you love it. You love the smell. I like that now it's going around a little faster. Thank you. And so in this breath, we also learn some beautiful lessons of joy and gratitude and how important that is to this work. And so I want to leave us, and Mama Lu also was sharing about how the indigenous medicine is the medicine that we need. There's this tree that is in a medicine here. It's very old and very few people know it anymore. And this tree is called Ufat Halam Danu. Can you say that? Ufat Halam Danu. Ufat Halam Danu. U, fat, ha, lum, ta, nu. U fat ha lum. U fat ha lum. U fat ha lum ta nu. U fat ha lum ta nu. So now we're going to transition into this moment, yeah, and I can already feel y'all feeling it. So Ufat Halam Tanu is a medicine that grows in the jungle, and the name of that tree literally means it will create a jungle. And that's what we need. When I look at Tom Home, which is my ancestral village, where you all are staying, or many of the visitors are staying, I look and I go, one day, Ufat Halam Tanu, it will be made jungle once again. Right? So as we close out today, I want to invite us to invoke that spirit of that tree to grow the jungle of peace and prosperity and justice and unity. And we're going to just say Ufat Halam Tanu over and over again. We'll start slow. And I'll invite you to sing what you feel called to sing, to dance what you feel called to dance. I'll invite you to sing in your languages, whether that is the language of movement or the language from another land. This prayer, this moment is for us. This is vibrational, and we're going to grow this forest right here, and it's going to grow all the way out. And the last thing that I'll say about peace is that, you know, we talked about mali'i or cantantamarita, and it's a form of song, and it's actually also a way that our people would use to solve conflict. Because as soon as you start singing in a conflict, then you know we can resolve this. And it invites us to be in literal harmony with one another. And that's what we're going to invoke now. So I know some of us are shy, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're asking me to sing, oh my gosh. And I'm gonna invite those of us that are shy to lean in a little bit to the courageousness in which is brewing inside of you. I'm going to invite you to just vibe in the moment, whatever your body needs and whatever you can give to this prayer. Before we get into the ceremony, we have an announcement. that there are two cars that need to move in order for our manamku to get into the center. It is an orange Sienna. Nope. It's a Nissan Rogue that is orange and a red Prius. If that is your car, please go move it. We cannot. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to ufat halam tanu from over there and come back.
Okay.
It looks like it's nobody's car here. Yeah. Biba! All right. Here we go. Yeah. Ufat halum tanu. Ufat halum tanu. Ufat halum tanu. Ufat halum tanu.
Our work here today is done. Viva!